I'm opening. We have an eye, sort of a nostril, 2 teeth. One of the teeth has a small cavity. Close call, folks, but I think we got here just in time.
Presented by Maria Menounos and Kevin Undergaro. This is Anatomy of a Movie. In-depth discussions and breakdowns of various movie titles. And now that you've seen the movie, let the dissection begin.
Hey guys, this is Anatomy of a Movie. I'm Chloe West, and you are hearing, we can't hear it in the studio, so it sounds a little bizarre, but you're listening to Corey Feldman's Duh, which you can find on YouTube, directed by Miss Tanna Frederick over here.
The video, yes, the video.
The video is directed by her, and this is your song, which is really cool, but we're actually here to talk about the M word.
That's right.
And we both are in the video, just FYI.
Oh, you're in the music video as well?
She directed the video, and then she starred in the video as...
Lucy.
And look at, she's wearing the perfect Lucy breast.
I know I have it, yeah.
Wait, did I say breast? She's wearing the perfect Lucy breast. I mean dress.
Corey, my mom's in the audience.
Sorry.
Corey.
Here I go
lock
already.
it down.
Right at the
Lock it
beginning.
down.
Just can't think about
Just get it out
anything
now.
but sex.
He plays
Damn it!
Ricky.
I'm not going to talk about sex.
Actually, we're going to talk about sex a little bit.
Corey played Ricky in the video, just FYI.
Oh,
So we
I
are.
love
She was
it.
Lucy, I was Ricky, and we did not have sex.
I'd like to hear your best Ricky impression and your best Lucy.
Oh, Lucy, I don't want to go there right now.
Ricky!
Come on, Lucy, don't you do it. Now I got something for you. I'm going to have to take you to the bathroom, and then I'm going to get on you.
Yes, yes. We're all going to YouTube that right now just to see that again. That was great.
In actuality, we don't talk in the video, but
there's not a great...
It's all
It's
pantomime.
just like,
Sorry.
this is one of those. This is going to be one of those interviews where people right underneath. Were they all drunk?
Yeah.
Actually, we're just
Why
drinking.
why does Tanna keep laughing and Corey keeps thinking he's funny?
That's funny. We have really weird. It's cool that when you find somebody who you have great
Chemistry.
See, he finishes sentences.
That's
And
great.
Corey is that person, and we did like reading together a long time ago. And
For a
then-
play.
For a play.
Is that how you guys met before the movie?
Where did we meet?
Well,
Holy crap
it's
balls.
a long story, but no, we actually had the same manager for a little while.
Yes.
And so my manager was helping her get a play cast that she was doing with Henry, and they were doing it at their theater at the Edgemar. And she said, I need you. Well, she said to Scott, my manager, hey, could you come down and have him maybe do a reading with us for this play that we're trying to get up on his feet. And I think whatever it was, I wasn't available, but they had sent me the script that she was working on next, and it was this great play called Sylvia, where she was playing a dog.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yes.
And-
I love that play.
Which kind of is a little bit of like, the predecessor to this whole movie, really, because she was playing a dog.
She plays a dog in the children's show.
Movie, right. So she was doing the dog thing, and they needed, somebody to do it with her to play the
There are
dad.
3 roles. You auditioned for the 3 roles. There's a very difficult part in it.
Oh, you play all 3,
There's-
right?
Yeah, and so he did a brilliant audition, of course, because he's a brilliant comedian. And then we were like, yes, and then he's very busy. He's a very wanted man, so he couldn't be in the play. And the play,
I think
it
I
ran
was on
like
tour
9
that
months.
year. Wasn't I on tour that year?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
So I think I was on
That's
tour
a
with
big
my
commitment.
band, and they were like, well, we need you for forever on weekends.
Forever.
And I was like, weekends is when I do my shows. I don't know how I'm going to do that. You know what I mean? So I was like, I could do it all week, but the weekend part, that's going to be rough.
That's when you're out of town.
Yeah,
So,
the conflict was too much.
not so
But
much,
we all
then-
made frenzies, and now we're best frenzies.
And then you were able to do the film.
And then
Yeah.
the film came up.
And so let's get into the M word.
Okay.
Because when you look at the title, you're like, what does it stand for? Does it stand for marriage? Is this going to be about marriage? And no, it's about menopause.
Yeah,
Or
and menstruation.
Today, my M word would be mucus.
Mucus.
Farmer blow right on the table. Show us what you got.
gosh.
Lay it
A
out.
rocket launcher
Yes, no,
right there.
I woke up a little ill today, so you can hear the deepness in my voice.
It's really, but it is sexy.
It's my sexy
yeah,
time.
it's very nice.
Yes.
Dang.
Very nice. How low can you
I
go?
feel like I'm in the tickle chair in
How
Howard
low
Stern's
can you
tickle
go?
chair.
How low
and
can
so
you
riled
go?
up.
With the M word, did you guys when you read the script, were you immediately into it and like, because it's not, I mean, a part of it is about menopause, but it's also about a small TV station in LA about to go under, and New York coming in and taking over. And there's a parallel between menopause and the TV station at its time, and sort of either going under or gonna maybe hopefully due to the documentary be saved.
Yeah.
So were you, when you read the script, were you like, oh phew, it's not all about menopause? Or
well, Henry develops all of his script from like ground zero according to the people who are cast. So Corey was the first co-star cast in this, and so the development of the script with Henry Jaglom and Ron Vignoni started emerging with Corey and my our flavor, our chemistry, whatever. And
like basically Henry would get together with the two of us and watch us together and see how we kind of
interacted.
Correspond. And then he goes and he writes a sketch. He like a blueprint. And he says, okay, I'm going to have her do this scene with him, and that would be fun if we got them into this situation or that situation. But it's a long process, right?
It takes a year to write the script yeah, and then he lets you go. So you're only, because we shoot in such a short amount of time, you get a first take, you do basically the scene, or maybe you don't even have any information for the scene. Henry might just tell you, okay, this is where she's going to pull you out and tell you something, and then you just have to go with it. Like the spider scene, which is one of my favorite scenes in the world.
Really?
Yeah, so it's you're like,
I mean, you feel really bad for your character because as she plays your girlfriend in this movie, and she'll come out of the boardroom, and this is the spider scene we're talking about, and she comes out, and you just feel so bad for your character because she's totally emasculating you like the whole movie.
Right.
And I think
and
the
he
audience
takes
really,
it like a man.
Yeah, and the audience feels bad for your character.
You know what's really funny? I have something to say about that.
Yeah, I want to.
Speaking of emasculation,
just remember I'm sitting right next to you.
Yes, well, Tanna, no, it's all her fault. No, really, what happened was, and this is actually true. A lady came out of the premiere, and came up to me and she says, you know, I just love it when you play the bad guy. It's so nice. And I was like, bad guy? What? How did I play the bad guy?
That's great.
But that's really what it was. Like, he was so emasculated that you almost felt like he was a schmuck, you know? You're just like, this guy's a schmuck.
But he wasn't. He was the one trying to help it the whole time.
Right, he's really the good guy. If anything, he's the only honest one in there. You're like,
exactly.
In this day and age, the good guy is the bad guy. I see, that
he
works.
was trying to like his character was shady, man.
He was?
Yeah.
I don't think
he
so.
was trying to get in with the New York people, and like he was trying to double cross me, and
true.
then he was like, I won't even say period or menstruation, and this show is, he says this show is going to be terrible and not work out. His character does.
Well, he also doesn't want to be a part of it.
He doesn't believe in it. I don't know that means that he's a bad guy, though. He's just trying to be
He's not
honest.
a bad guy,
he's a very
but he's
honest
shifty.
person.
Yeah.
He's a very honest person, and his honesty
is shady.
Well, it's more in his favor, shall we say.
Right.
So he likes to see his version of the truth.
Yeah.
Not necessarily the...
Okay, that's a really good way of describing it.
Well, it was my character. I owned it.
And so what's interesting about how Henry makes the films is that he relies a lot on the actors, which is really cool. And have you guys ever, I mean, you've worked with Henry a lot before, but I feel like this is not a common thing in filmmaking for the writer and director to really take on a lot of what the actors are kind of giving to them. So what was that experience like, being able to make a film where the writer and the director is really listening, and like everything you do they might use?
Well, do we want the real answer? No. Let me say, the scene is hot. Oh, sorry. Anyway, no. Henry is an adventure. Let's just say that. Working with him is like working with no other. He is unique in essence, because he spends, like I said, he spends 9 months to a year working on the script, getting it perfect, getting it detailed, very meticulous. And then he says, I want every single person to study the script. I want them to learn the script backwards and forwards. I want you to know every single word for word. And I was like, but I thought we were going to improvise. I don't care what you thought. So I was like, okay. You got it. So then I go and I study the whole script, and I'm like well trained, and I like come in, I'm prepared, and he's like, you memorize the script? I said, yeah. He goes, good, now leave it in the trailer. What? And And that's the
It's
methodology
perfect.
behind it,
It's perfect
because
description.
what he wants really is he wants you to learn it well enough so that you can own it, so that when he decides to throw a curveball or change the scene, or he doesn't like the direction, or he decides what he wrote was crap, or whatever it is,
Right.
he wants you to now fix it via your character, the way your character
Very cool.
would do it. So you have to jump to the conclusions as you are that person, and you can't know that person unless you know that script backwards and forwards. I
Right.
think that's
Corey,
That's
that's
sort of-
the best. That's honestly, out of 6 movies with Henry, that's the best description of how he works.
Very
Nice,
cool.
nice.
That seems like an actor's paradise a little bit to be able
it's a
to
paradise and a
play that
nightmare.
way.
I mean, I think that,
Yeah,
like,
at the same time.
people who are, people like Michael who are used to being on TV and a structure,
by the book,
he
by the
went
book.
crazy for it. But then there are some actors who freak out. It's just, I have to say, I'm totally biased, but the people in Henry's films, I think, are some of the most incredibly talented people on the planet.
This.
No, but seriously.
no,
Seriously,
it's
no.
true.
But you have to be able to think on your feet.
But what
It's true.
I think, actually, though, watching this film, the acting is really incredible. And
Yeah.
as a female, what I loved about it is such strong female actresses in here, which was awesome.
Frances Fisher.
Oh my
amazing.
gosh.
Sexy as hell.
And playing age appropriate roles.
Right.
Like, it was just very exciting to watch. And of course, because it is called the M Word, it's about menopause. It's like, okay, good. I'm glad there are a lot of strong
I have an
females in
important
this
question.
movie.
I have an important question. Not to
you
break
have
the
a
flow. Not to
question.
break the flow.
Oh,
But was
what?
Francis Fisher in Clash of the Titans?
I don't know.
Tick, tick,
Marissa,
tick, tick, tick,
Marissa,
tick, tick,
can you
tick.
look that up for us? And
I know it's a
Why
random
are you
figure it
asking
out.
that right
Because I
now?
watched Clash of the Titans
Last night?
Like,
And
no,
you're
this
like,
was
is
like
that
2
her?
months ago, right before the screenings and stuff.
Oh.
But when I was watching, I was like, actually, Courtney was the one. She's like, isn't that Francis Fisher? And I was like,
What
is that
character was
Francis
she
Fisher?
playing?
Androgyna.
Like an androgynous character?
No, the
I haven't
no, the
seen it.
god, Androgyna. She's
There's
like
a
one of
go-
the yeah.
but she's
one of
like
the,
sexless.
No, she is the.
No, I don't think so.
But androgyna would.
She's the one who
That's
had.
what you would think.
She's
Yeah.
the one who had the girl that Perseus has to go after. Like she has.
This
the
is when all the
only-
YouTube
That's
comments will be like,
Cassio.
no way, or
That's
yes.
Cassiopeia, according to Greek mythology. But
Who is
Interesting.
the queen is not
Androgyna?
Not androgyna.
No. Okay. Off
All right, we'll move on.
topic.
All right,
on.
but anyway, I think it was Francis Fisher. If not, then it's a younger woman that looks exactly like Francis
Wow.
Fisher. Very beautiful.
No, I really want to know.
Yeah, I know.
Well, we will find
Andromeda.
out soon.
Andromeda, that's what I
not
meant.
androgyna.
That would mean something
I
totally
knew
different.
it wasn't.
Jen Hannah's over here,
the sexless
really
god.
trying to figure
The
it
god
out.
that doesn't believe in sex. I don't know.
I remember my talented and gifted classes. There was no androgyna in 4th grade.
Right.
Andromeda.
Andromeda. That's what I meant
In
to
Corey's
say.
world, it's androgyna.
Yeah.
Whatever.
He makes everything a little more
That would,
exciting.
be, that would be an interesting way to do Greek mythology, is to
Right.
just change everything
Just let
just a
Corey
little
be
bit.
right.
A slight
be
tad.
so fun.
Well, especially if you don't really know the real answer. That's the fun of it. I'm doing
Or if
this
you
not
do
because
and I
I'm
just,
creative, but I just messed it all up. But you're going to watch it and enjoy it anyway.
Corey, rewrite all of Greek history right now. Here you
Okay,
go.
ready? Here we go.
And
so
well,
what happened
androgyna.
was
there was
a
this
great
guy.
there was a great tittin.
Oh no, Francis isn't in it, unfortunately.
All right. Well, we just wasted 5 minutes.
Yeah, but
Hey,
she is in
Francis,
it.
you
She's
would have
great.
been great as the Andromeda
As Androgyna.
in
Clash
You
of the
were
Titans.
in
Clash of the Titans.
And so when you're improving the scenes, how many scenes with all your aunts and your mom were improv? Because that's when your character was playing the documentary maker.
Yes.
So were they just
There
going-
was there
And
was
how
a
much were
scene-
you pretending to be like Henry? Because that's what I imagine.
Oh, that's
you know what I mean?
interesting.
Like you're behind the camera and I'm thinking, oh, I wonder if she's just doing her best Henry impersonation of, asking the questions to the ladies and making it. And so tell us a little bit about that.
Would you say I was Henry?
No.
I was no.
No.
I think I was well.
Unless I missed it, but I didn't
I've
see
watched him do questions, but I think I was a little more gentle than he would be.
Oh.
Yeah, he really gets in there, and hence his wonderful array of women's films where he does this sort of this sort of structure where it's
Investigation.
where it's interviews of actresses who are willing to actually share their experiences with menopause, which you saw in there, and then interweave this story of, you know, a love triangle into a station going down. So I've watched him interview women, and I don't think I totally was like Henry. I don't think I'm as New Yorkish.
As digging.
Like, yeah, get in there. But I was kind of, but the aunts, I mean, they were crazy. I just sat in the kitchen, and they did have lines, but then they totally, Henry's like, Corey said, like, throw them out. Just do what you want. Because he really, truly believes that the actor knows better and can come up with, he really is an actor's director and can come up with more brilliant lines than he wrote. So that's why he's just like, throw it away. He's done that since his first film, like, to the actors, like, throw away the script. Let's see what you say. So the women just started, Frances Fisher just started shoving, like, lettuce down
Yes, that scene's amazing.
down her, it's
wiping
amazing.
herself with lettuce.
It's
shoving
so
it into her
real.
soup.
It's
And
so
she-
freaking real.
She
You know
did.
what I
She
mean?
drank the, like, something people don't even notice. Do you remember that part? She actually picks up some olive oil that was a prop and starts chugging it.
Oh,
Yes, nobody notices.
You don't
that.
notice
It's one of my
God.
favorite
don't
parts.
I thought it
notice
was
olive
wine.
oil,
I thought
but-
it was wine.
No,
I
it
thought
was
she was picking up the wine.
that canister of olive oil, and then they
She
started.
really drank olive oil like
Yeah,
that?
yeah.
Oh my gosh.
And I was just, and you're in the scene,
my
and you,
gosh.
so
That's
it kind of
dedication.
helps because you're like, wow,
You know,
mom's really going
in
nuts.
Lost Boys, the second one, The Tribe it was called, I actually created this thing called frog juice, which was, it was actually raw eggs, smashed up garlic, and holy water, which of course wasn't really holy water, but it was still water. And I really did. I took water and raw eggs and garlic, and I stirred them up and then just downed it. And everybody on the set was like, "Are you serious right now? Did you really do that? You didn't have to do that, dude. We could have faked it." And I was like, "No, Edgar
I'm
Frog
method.
doesn't fake it, all right?"
Yeah.
Sorry.
Love
But-
it.
That's disgusting. Did that make you throw up?
No, but it was such a good gimmick, and everybody loved it so much that we had to do it again in part 3.
Oh, for the love
And they were
of
like,
Mike.
they wrote it into the script.
So
I was
you
like,
did
"Did you
like-
really? Did you really?"
to do like 50 takes drinking the.
Oh, I bet. Oh.
I had some friends.
The first time it was just like once, and then we got it, and that was it. But the next time, of course, it was like
They
had to
were
make a
waiting
big
I
for
just
it.
don't know
for
how
it.
you didn't
Yeah.
hurl, because I remember these two twins and their mom, whenever they were sick, they always used she'd crack 2 raw eggs, fed it to them, and then they would throw up. I mean, so I don't know how
to
you
make
Sounds
them
a
throw
great-
up.
That sounds like a great idea.
Good
Sounds like an
parenting.
Well, no, I learned
Yeah.
it from Stallone. He did it in Rocky, right? He
Yes,
took like
he
the
does.
3 raw eggs,
Yeah.
he put them in a blender,
Mom's nodding.
blended
My
them,
mother-
and then drink it.
My
Yeah,
mother, the
it's
nurse,
good protein.
approves of raw eggs.
I learned it in Beauty and the Beast when Gaston does it. No.
Oh yeah. You are Belle. Let me just say,
Oh, thank you.
you're Belle.
You're at least
But
a Belle
I'm
of this
Ariel.
ball.
Oh, you are Ariel.
I am
Yes.
Ariel. What is he?
I am Prince Kavanaugh.
Ooh, I don't.
Is that one of the
This
Greek
is an-
characters?
No, I just
This is
made him
another
up.
one of his.
Prince Androgynous.
I just made him up. Prince Kavanaugh.
Okay, you're
He
Prince
sounds
Kavanaugh.
very romantic, doesn't he?
Sounds like it.
And when you guys
He's
were
the gay prince of all Fantasyland.
Oh, we love you
Prince
so
Kavanaugh.
much.
Thank you so much. Would you like me to do your nails?
Yes.
Yes, yes, let's do
Oh,
it. Okay. All right, next we're all
Disney
going to the
princess
salon. We're going to get some
party.
shoes. We're going to go to a tailoring party. We're going to have a little.
This is
You know,
Henry's
alone
next
time.
film.
I know,
is
this
this
is- this
princess
is right here.
movie right
Yeah.
here.
Princess
I love
movie.
it. That's funny.
You're gonna manscape beast.
Right. I like it.
Yes,
Manscaped
I like
Like
that. Yes,
Sounds brooding.
yes. And so when you
Brute,
guys,
no way.
when you guys were being cast as boyfriend and girlfriend,
Yes.
did you already know
Did we have to
that?
get intimate?
Well, you
Yes.
don't in the
You know.
film.
Yeah.
No.
Because
That's because
don't.
we've just so much.
The whole
We're like,
time
our
it's-
life
All
was
the
all the
time.
time for like the last 5 years.
the whole time we
So
feel
we
like
just
Moxie
couldn't,
doesn't
you
like
know.
you, and we're like, why is she even dating him? But did it ever start to where your relationship was closer, and then, or no, was it always very separate?
Corey and I. Well, do you want me to answer that?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Corey is one of my favorite people on the earth. I love him. He is like this older brother that I never had. I think I could sit and listen to him for hours. And ever since the second we met, I was absolutely a smitten kitten with him, but not in that way. I mean, I suppose we could try it sometime, but Courtney would probably get kind of mad. But
think
like,
Henry
we have.
Sorry.
Okay. But
But I
you know,
feel like your relationship was very brother sister.
it's totally brother sister.
And the whole time we were rooting for your character and Michael's character to really get
you don't
together.
think? Are you attracted to me?
You're gorgeous.
I think you're really hot.
Yeah.
Duh.
But you're kind of taken, so.
Does that matter in LA?
But we're you
Not
guys
to
are
me, but
actors.
hey, you know.
I don't know, but I want to hear Corey's answer.
My answer is that my girlfriend wouldn't care.
No.
Oh.
Your answer to the
I was
question
like, let's do it.
about,
Come on,
like,
bring it. Let's go.
What would you have answered if I hadn't answered first about boyfriend girlfriend?
I thought it was going to be a lot more that way, to be honest, because to me, I didn't see a love triangle. Personally speaking, I saw a guy that was to the curb and she was over it, and like the first chance she got, she jumped to the other ship.
yes.
I think that it should have been a little bit more like we had something going into it other than just making out on a couch once. But I mean, there should have been some kind of like at least us at breakfast or something, or
At breakfast.
I don't know. There's a little bit more showing that like we
the
do
breakfast
have
scene where like,
breakfast in bed.
like,
and,
oh yeah, that would have been
Yeah.
cute. But so many girls on Twitter who follow Corey are like, oh my god, he's kissing in the first scene. It's so hot.
I know they
so,
got so
you
excited
know,
by it, didn't
yeah.
they? My Feld fan fam.
Feld fam loves it. So
That's great.
I
A
think
Feld
we-
fam fan.
Yeah.
No, Feld fan fam.
Yeah.
Or Feld fan or Feld fam, but if they're everything, then they're a Feld fan fam.
Oh
they
my gosh,
love
that's a
they
lot.
love the making out scene. It was right off the bat. I mean, he and I were. I thought
It was,
I
yeah.
thought it was a cute scene.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, oh, I haven't gotten my period. I think you're pregnant. And he's like, what?
I think each time
there
you were
goes that one. Cool, babe.
I
Thanks
think-
for ruining my night.
Yeah, I think each time you went to kiss someone in the movie, actually, you mentioned your period.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure each time it's somehow brought up.
That's so romantic.
Only in a Jaglin film is that sexy.
Right, exactly.
And
Yes.
it's awesome because women are really like that.
I thought a Catherine
Kind of.
Catherine Biant movie it might work as well.
I want to talk about the scene at the end when you are getting cramps. Because I don't think I've ever seen a scene in a movie where someone shows cramps as extreme as they were, but like also it's really
Fair enough, fair
adorable
enough.
because he's like
Aw.
really trying to take care of you, and you're really, and you go back and forth from being in so much pain to like really trying to love him as well. And so just talk about that, because how did you guys make that work to where you both knew what was going to be happening? And because it seems like it was very natural, very
That was
improv.
improvs. I knew it was he had certain lines that he was gonna say, like, you know what? I love your questions and I love the scenes that you pick out, because it's like, okay, Henry's like, okay, here's a scene where you two, this is where he professes his love to you, says he's a schmuck, and you get your period, and then you guys make out, and it has to be a happy ending. So go. So I really have bad periods like that. My periods are really, 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 really bad.
But you really like scream and yell
Yeah.
and like all that, really?
I do. Yeah.
Wow.
I throw up.
I wanted to almost
dramatic.
like I was.
No, it's not dramatic.
Jeez.
Ah! I wanted to yell at the TV.
Your eye
though,
twitch
like,
there, or if you can replay that in slow motion, she got a little
Sorry.
twitch in the eyes. Are you serious?
Someone will make
Are
a
you
gif
not
of it.
feeling sorry for my
And
period?
a lot of men like don't understand
They
that. And I'm
don't
like,
understand.
just take 2 little toothpicks and stick them up there and see if that feels good. Do you scream or no? Sorry.
This is what the
I'm
whole
asking.
movie's
Yeah.
about. Actually, is this
So, you know,
perspective?
It really is bad. It does
Well-
feel like somebody's stabbing my ovaries, and if I don't get the proper medication time, I'm like, ah, and it feels like I'm pregnant. I mean, I don't know. I haven't had a child, but I'm sure it would be.
They actually
don't
say
think you
probably would
should.
they say cramps
That
are
would be very
what your
painful.
contractions will
If
be
you're-
like.
Yeah.
That's what they say
Really?
cramps are
Yeah,
like.
and
Yeah.
imagine that for 9 months.
No, you don't contract for 9 months.
Well, no, at least the last
You're
month
a
and a
walking
half,
birth
though, right?
control commercial.
So do you
It's
want
true, though, the
to?
last
Or
month and a
just
half.
right here.
Seriously, do you want to? Are
You got a
you
mom
one of
here?
the
Can she back
characters?
this up? Or?
I'm starting to sweat. This is so funny. I'm starting to sweat in this dress. Just
Oh, nice.
no, it just happens around Corey. He makes me laugh so much.
Thank you.
So if you notice a little girl sweats going on.
Well, some of the actresses in the film talked about they enjoyed menopause because they didn't have
cramps anymore.
cramps
and I
or period anymore.
completely, that was like, yeah.
That was something you were like,
yeah.
I'm
That's
on
a
that
positive.
train.
Yeah, that's a positive. But it was a really awkward scene, and it actually, they cut it more than I would like, because I went
really?
further. Like, I just
Get
took it
out.
there. Yeah. And, but it was so much fun. It was so much fun to be like, he says something like, I love you, and I've been lying to you. And I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Ah! You know, and it's just great where there's a film where that happens. Corey's looking at me like,
No. Actually, I'm
wrong.
thinking about,
So
because
wrong.
I've obviously dated a few girls in my day, and
married.
was married a few times, and I've done all of the above.
Has the cutest son ever. Like
There's a positive that comes out of all this.
Yeah.
But the point is that through my different incarnations of relationships, some of them have been just as bad as that. As a matter of fact, the one I can think of off the top of my head is actually a radio host herself. Her name is Carrie Kasem.
Oh.
Daughter of the great Casey
Yes,
Kasem.
Casey
And let me
Kasem.
tell you, she was just like you in that movie. Oh my God.
See?
She
It
would
happens.
start screaming and yelling and she'd be like, oh my God! It's time! Fuck everybody!
Dropped an egg!
Exactly. Yeah.
It's so
That
true.
part is hilarious.
That was real.
When she says, and then he
But
says,
then, like, my
"Sit on the
current
pillow."
girlfriend, like
And I'm
Courtney,
like, oh,
she
yeah, it's
doesn't.
white. No.
She doesn't even flinch. I mean, like, maybe she'll like sleep for the day, maybe on her first day, and that's
I'm
it.
jealous. I'm
I
totally
think
jealous.
only
She'll just,
for
like,
this
she'll
movie
get
will
like
we
kind
be
of
able to
moody and
talk about
pout,
this.
and then she'll go lay in her, her bed, and that's it.
But Corey's real. I mean, you know what? He is such a good. Like, I'm sure he's an amazing partner to be with because one of my other favorite scenes is a scene where we called my mom, who's in the listening audience, and actually agreed. I actually put her on the phone with Corey, where I'm like, don't talk. I don't want to.
Yes.
And that's so loving, like the way that he handles
Is that how you
is
are in
so
real
sweet.
life?
I would
With things like that?
Yes,
Well,
I think he is.
Yeah, I
100%.
mean, I just
I'm
want to.
saying
I always
yes,
want to
he
make
is.
everybody happy. You know, I'm like the pacifist, so it's like, oh, I'll fix it. Don't worry.
Yeah.
About it, you know?
He's
I think we saw that in
meticulously,
your
like,
character
sweet.
because that scene specifically was one of the ones where the audience automatically was on his side, and we
Right.
found ourselves like, oh gosh, what a good
so-
boyfriend.
I know.
And then when you go with Michael, you're like, stop.
But he was
yeah,
so,
you're
I
like, he
know.
doesn't do
Can you
anything
believe it?
wrong.
Two
I know.
timing.
I know. I'm not saying my character. You know, I don't agree with all her choices either.
She's not flawless. She's not flawless, right, Tanna? Right. I mean, some of
Unlike
it was
me.
guided by the director.
But now
Right?
you have played a lot of actresses in films. Is that how do you pull from your friends that you know? How much do you pull from yourself? How much do you pull from other actresses that you've worked with that you're like, I'm gonna exploit this and I get to? Or is it really just mostly like from your life?
I don't think my life is quite as dramatic as the characters I've portrayed. I mean, and it's not as funny. So yeah, I kind of amp it up. I mean, you're in a town. This is a town full of actors and actresses and artists. So it's not hard to get a collage of hilarity to put into a film. You know, it's just not difficult. There's so many great stories that should be heard and should be told and make for great scenes. Don't you think?
All I can say is that, like, everybody that sees this movie loves the movie.
Yeah.
Well,
know what I
there's so
mean?
many different aspects to it. Besides,
New York Times was great. That was good.
besides
New York
talking
Times,
about
New York Daily
menopause.
News, both gave it a
A
great
lot.
review.
San Francisco Chronicle.
New York Daily News actually mentioned me in the article. That was very nice. Did you see
Oh,
that?
there you go.
Oh, so did San Francisco.
Nice.
Yep.
I didn't see it, but I'll believe
Yeah, you've gotten really good reviews.
it. Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think what's great about this film for you is that we get to see you in a role that I don't necessarily think you've played, where we're like always on your side, but you're also like, you know, people are someone close to you that you want to be with and you're really trying to work for, sort of double crossing you, but
Yeah.
at the same time they're the lead and so we're on her side as well. It was the audience watching had a really weird
torn. You're
we're
torn.
torn
Push.
because we're like, we want her to be happy, but you didn't do anything wrong, so you're not the bad guy.
It's kind of cool. That's kind of cool with Henry's films is there's no...
Good
it's
and
like
bad.
life. There's no black and white. And I think that also makes for, you know, forgiveness is like it's just humanity. There's no black and white. There's no pessimist. There's no, you know, there's just well, there are pessimists. I mean, there's no protagonist, an antagonist necessarily.
I think the antagonist in this one was the system, really.
Yes.
The system for
That
the
was
TV
that's
station.
very good.
Because it was like, you know, New York coming down, but none of the guys, they ended up not being that bad of guys. They were just doing their job. They were part of the system. And I think that's why a lot of people will go to the film. You know, it's not just about menopause. You know,
Right.
there's a whole nother storyline that parallels it.
And it's a
it's-
huge problem. I mean, when I was the one thing I had to do is research, or I wanted to research about small mom and pop stations that are getting completely slashed across the country, and there are so many people out of work. 60% of independent radio stations have been and TV stations have been cut in the last like 2 years. So, you know, which isn't surprising with arts cuts and funding cuts for the, you know, for art programs, and for it's just all goes syndicate or some big guy comes in and takes over. So that was really close to my heart, especially being an independent film actress and having been in a lot of indie films. It's like it's just the reality of the situation. So
I really like the Norma Ray aspect of it. You know what I mean? That, like, my favorite part of the movie, I think, is when she like gets the idea for the handcuffs and she like locks everybody
sort of
in,
becomes Joan of Arc a little bit,
and just like starts chanting and ranting and like gets everybody all, you know, excited. That's the thing for me. That's really what sells the movie. Without that arc, I don't know if I would have gotten bored. But like that arc is what makes it like and then you really start ranting for her and chanting and you know, everybody's just into it. You know, because you really feel bad because like corporate takeover is a reality of, you know, the society we live in today, and it happens all the time, and all of your friends are always calling you saying like, oh my god, I just got laid off, I just got laid off. You know, in our industry you don't really get laid off, you just don't get as much work.
That's so true.
You could get laid off because you could get the job and then they could go in a different direction. That's the layout.
Yes.
Well, you know, we're going in a different direction.
It just wasn't
small
working.
person to play
It just
the
wasn't working. Your acting was fabulous.
Yeah.
It wasn't your acting
You didn't
at
do
all.
anything wrong.
It's just that you were your hair was a little different than we imagined. Once we saw you on screen next to the star, it just wasn't working out. So I'm so sorry.
And this, ladies and gentlemen, is chapter 4 of choreography.
That's
Go
right,
out,
exactly.
buy it right away.
No,
Buy
actually,
it immediately.
It's part 22.
Oh, sorry.
Part 22. There are 22 chapters in choreography.
Oh, wow. And so, Corey,
We are
what
at
was
chapter
it like
27
for you?
right now.
What was it like for you working with such a prominent indie film director? Like working in the indie scene, because you were like blockbuster films for so long, and so what was it like? What's different about, you know, the indie scene and with working with such a big indie director of like Henry?
Well, you know, it's interesting for me because, as you said, like I did blockbuster kind of A-list stuff most of my career, and then at a certain point got into some trouble, and then I had to do a bunch of B movies for a little while, which really sucked, and then I kind of crawled my way back into the studio system, and it was like I do a little bit here, a little bit there, but then I'd still have my love in the independent world.
Yeah. And
like right now, that's where I am, and I feel like working with somebody like Henry. It's like working with like Woody Allen or maybe, you know,
Absolutely.
right in that kind of vein, to where like you can't get any bigger in the indie world. You know what I mean?
Totally.
Like you're either with Henry or you're with, you know, Woody Allen or Albert Brooks, and that's kind of the three guys that do this.
Right.
You know? And it's an honor. I mean, I felt honored from the moment that I, you know, knew that he was interested in casting me in a lead because, you know, it is part of film history, and he still shoots on 35 millimeter. Hello.
Yes, I thought that was very interesting.
That to
watching
me,
that.
that's where I'm at. That's where my heart's at. Like, I don't get filming everything on digital and then like trying to put it through a process so it still looks like film. What? Why not just make it with film in the first place, and then you don't have to process it?
I think, a big thing for people to know is because he still films on that, it's great to go see it in the theater.
Absolutely.
Where they have, you know, the capability to really play it and see all the colors that film still gives you that digital necessarily doesn't.
There's no like CGI and non-mass material. You're seeing people. You're seeing people and you're seeing actors do their craft. And that is what's cool about Henry's film. I mean, he has not ever sold out to. He produces his own films. He releases his own films. So what you're seeing,
I think this is his 29th self-produced film, which is incredible.
Yeah. Wow,
That's true.
yeah, and that's amazing. I mean, that's just to be able to say in the 70s, I'm not going to sell it to the studio system. And
which in the 70s was very, very hard.
Now
I feel like it's a lot easier for people to make films, but I think that's what some people nowadays don't know or don't realize how hard it was to get out of the studio system or to make a movie without a studio.
But it's also more
still
difficult
have a presence.
now.
To still have a presence and be taken seriously, even though you're not in the studio system.
Absolutely,
I was reading this article with Julia Roberts, and she was saying how she doesn't even understand the system now. I think like early on in your career, you still had remnants of some sort of studio system. And when you say like things started getting crazy because they're all digital, because anybody can make a film now. You know, there is no system that is left, really. I
Well,
mean,
and
she
here's
said,
the
you
other
make
thing.
$1 on a film, you make $2 in the next film, great. Now you make a film you get a huge salary, then you go do a free film because it could be a blockbuster. You don't know. You
Yeah,
don't know.
absolutely.
Well, and and the other thing is that, with the studios, the way they work is like it's either 100 million, 200 million, 300 million, or 5 million. There's like nothing in between. Like I know, like growing up my whole life, like a lot of the big movies that I did were like 20 million, 30 million, 40 million dollars. And even if you upgrade that to 100 million, 120, 140, which is close to what we would be at, it still is a far cry from $300-400 million. Like they just didn't even conceive of something like that in those days. And look, the films were all very, very successful.
Absolutely.
Star Wars was done for what, like probably 20 million.
The first three were done for like
Nothing.
a fraction of what they make them now. I remember reading an article that the buttons like were all completely fake and would fall off all the time after they would press them all the time, which is great to know.
And they thought the lightsabers were like lame and stuff.
Yeah.
I read stories but I think that
Because at first they were just like little glow sticks that they were trying to use,
Yeah, and
and
they were
then
like,
later they
really?
put computer
Really?
stuff on it to like make them actually glow. So they were like, "Oh, look what we did in After Effects, cool, huh?"
I love the story of that. But now you don't know, again, if a movie, it could be made for $20,000. I mean, probably not 20,000, but you could feasibly, somebody could make a movie like Blair Witch.
Totally.
And
That's $100 grand.
and it just pops, and then they make a crap ton of money.
But the
from it.
only problem with
You
that
don't know.
theory
You don't
is
know
that
if you're-
there's a million films a year made thinking they're all going to be the next Blair Witch.
So how do you choose?
And
How do
then,
you know what to take?
Yeah, one actually does it, but that's one out of literally 1,000 that year.
I just think
Maybe it'll be
the
this one.
systems has changed since Corey's grown up. I think the system has completely changed, and it'd be really hard to navigate in this particular time and place when you used to have that.
Well, I'm very grateful for the fact that now I have the opportunity to do it all. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
Absolutely. In voiceover work, Ninja Turtles.
I'm working on Ninja Turtles right now.
So
We're
rad.
talking about Goonies 2, which is very exciting.
that's exciting.
That is
That's
going to
really
be
exciting.
really rad. Are you excited to get back on a set like that? Because that set probably looks like the most fun set.
I mean, when you say like that, I mean, I still do a lot of big production stuff, but it's
Specifically that set.
that
the pirate
specific. Well,
ships
it won't
Ninja
be the
Turtles.
same set. You know what I
Is it
mean?
gonna
It's
be
gonna
like
be a
green
whole
screen
new.
now?
I have no idea.
Hopefully
I mean,
not.
that would be sad.
It is
Would
Richard
probably.
Donner directing it, you know what I mean? So I'm sure he's going to use his old school. I mean, he's like Henry, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
they've got that way. They
Oh,
work
that's
the way
good.
they work. So I don't think he's going to go and change. But whereas with Goonies, we do like maybe 1 or 2 camera setups. I know that like 10 years later, 15 years later, when I would work with Dick on like Maverick or like one of the Lethal Weapon or whatever, I'd come down to the set and he's got like 4 or 5 cameras set up.
Wow.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He'd be shooting literally rolling 4 or 5 cameras at a time, and I'd be like,
Wow, that's like soap
how
opera
do you
style.
do this? Yeah,
That's
but the way they
amazing.
do it is you get through 5 pages that way
Real
because you're
quick.
doing all the coverage on the entire scene at once, which is pretty cool.
I remember when I convinced Henry to stop doing 1 camera and go to 2 cameras, is like ripping his arm off. He was like, I don't understand. No, we're not doing that. And it was devastating. The first 3 movies, we had just 1 camera on the scene, and every scene there is no continuity. It's mostly, it's maybe scripted, but it's improv. It was a mess in the editing room. But finally,
Wow, I bet.
we had 2 cameras for the whole movie for that, right? 2 was like,
Yeah, because you can actually shoot 2 different things at the same time. You get second unit possibilities. Oh my god.
Absolutely.
otherwise it's so hard to plug it together with the Jaglom film. It's just hard to.
I can't imagine.
He's a great editor, and Ron Vignoni is an amazing editor.
Ron
so-
Vignoni deserves a lot of credit for this film as well because he
Yes.
really works hard. And he is he's behind the scenes. He's the one that plays Mrs. Goldenrod.
Real? Oh,
Yeah,
so and
Rich.
he plays the editor in the.
Yeah,
correct.
He plays a little side editor.
Yeah.
Now that's some of a lot of people when they talk about this film, they talk about the TV station is sort of the way it's a family and everyone kind of does a few jobs. Moxie's she's an actress, but she's a producer, and your character kind of produces and does documentaries they talk about, and you are also like meddling in the money and all these different things, and they kind of say that that's a little mirror to the way Henry works. And would you guys say that that's pretty true?
for sure.
Like everyone kind
I
of
wear
has,
like
does cool
59
things.
hats.
Yeah.
And I like them all. I mean, they're all fun. It's all. I just feel lucky.
It's like going to film school.
Yeah.
You go to a
Yeah.
Henry set,
You
it's
learn
like
so
you're on
much.
film school because you could end up doing any part of production at any time.
Yeah.
That's
yeah.
pretty cool and
What
different.
it's
Learn
about.
so much. You
Yeah.
learn so much, and then there's brilliant actors. He does have a brilliant cast. We've gotten a lot of raves for our cast.
Absolutely. The acting in this film is,
tight.
yes, it's pretty sensational.
Checking his text right now.
Oh, some Twitter.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I
Tweeting.
actually have to get going because my child's in school and he gets out at
Oh,
2:30.
you get that. Well, let's just talk about where everyone can find you guys. Do you guys have Twitters? And I'm sure
Yeah.
both of y'all do.
Ladies first.
Where can they find you on Twitter?
Tanna F at
No, at Tanna.
At Tanna F.
right.
There you go.
I'm really
And what
good
about
at
you,
it.
Corey?
She's so Twitter savvy.
I have a really good person who does it for
She's
me.
twabby.
Really, twabby.
Twabby. Twitter savvy.
I like that.
That's
And I do it all myself.
Nice.
I
he's a
laboriously spend time day after day
what's your site?
tweeting to the
Are you
twatters.
It's Corey Feldman.
It's at Corey _ Feldman.
At underscore. All
At
right.
Corey _
Who
Feldman.
took the hyphen Feldman?
You know, I don't know. And who
mean,
took at Corey
WTF.
Feldman? Who took just at Corey Feldman, right? Somebody
Right.
got it. It's actually a writer named Corey J. Feldman, I believe.
Why didn't he
who's
do
also
Corey
on
J?
Facebook. Good
Interesting.
But anyway, so
Very
also
cool.
Facebook, my Facebook page is there. And we've got CoreyFeldman.net. We've got my Corey's Angels site
actually has
where you
his
can see
own
the
line
Duh
of
video, Corey'sAngels.com. We've got Corey's Angels clothing line.
Oh my goodness.
Which is on its way to be developed. We did a talk show for a while, Corey's Angels Talk Live, which you can see those episodes on filmon.com, along with the Duh video. You can find my first video, Central Millennium, on MTV. And all of this falls under the big bracket of my YouTube page. Okay, I'm done now.
Nice.
Yeah.
Great.
Oh, yeah, iTunes, you can
That
buy
was
my
good
music.
for me. Was it good for you?
iTunes, Rhapsody, Spotify. Ooh,
And you guys can.
there's more.
Just stop. I can't take it anymore.
Okay,
And-
have you checked out the WB site lately? Oh, yeah, I'm all over it. Sorry. I was having cheap sex with myself.
And the M Word is out in select theaters.
Yes.
It's all
Lovely
over Los
theaters.
Angeles.
All Lemley's theaters, baby.
And it's open across the country now.
Yeah,
so
great.
you can see it, and if you're in Florida, you can see it. If you're in Texas,
Can you tell me what is it in Texas?
Yeah.
What city in Texas?
It's in like 4 cities. In
Is
Texas.
it really?
Yeah, they have a lot of indie films actually. Texas is
Okay, because you
rocking.
know what?
Austin
I have
for
my
sure.
fans.
Yeah, Austin.
It is
Dallas,
in Austin.
And Dallas.
Oh, for sure. Austin
Houston.
is a great
Because
city
like
for
I have
film.
fans all over Twitter that are like, I
Where
can't
is
find
it
it. Where is it? No. I'm just gonna have to watch it on demand. I'm like, no, it's out
getting
there.
that
Take
list
a
to
little
you.
road trip. Could you please?
Yes.
Is
That would
there
be so
a
awesome.
website for the movie?
Yes, the M Word, the movie.
The MWordTheMovie.com, probably.
Yeah.
She knows.
Or you can
she doesn't
Google
want to
it.
tell you because she wants you
Google
to
it.
find out
It's
yourself.
so bad.
Right.
It's
research.
the M Word. I think it's MWordTheMovie.com.
Great. Awesome. That's great. Well, thank you guys so much for coming in. This was really great.
Wasn't it?
Yeah, it
Like
was definitely
together,
better than
like-
that last
Yay.
one.
Oh,
That was fun too. No, that was awesome.
That was the
but
one where you called me
but
names
really
and I
liked it.
cried.
oh. Well, thank you guys so
I
much
get
for
sensitive. I
watching.
can't help it.
did not
I
do
know.
that.
I know. Oh, God. It was
You guys
love
can
you.
find us at anatomyofamovie.com. You can find me on Twitter
much
at Chloe
better
West X. And remember, we're
She
not
wasn't even
critics, we're
need to
fans
listen.
just like you. Thanks so much, guys. See ya.
Bye.
Peace out.
From producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the rest of the Anatomy of a Movie staff, we would like to thank you for listening and subscribing to the show. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to email or tweet us. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been Anatomy of a Movie.
Thanks for watching Anatomy of a Movie on YouTube. For more on your favorite movies, subscribe to our channel here and be sure to let us know what you think in our comment section below here. Bye.
He's very busy. He's a very wanted man, so he couldn't be in the play. And the play, you know,
I
it
think I
ran
was on
like
tour
9
that
months.
year. Wasn't I on tour that year?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
So I
something
think I was on
That's a
tour with
big
my
commitment.
band, and they were like, "Well, we need you for like, forever on weekends."
Forever.
And I was like, "Weekends is
forever.
when I do my shows. I don't know how I'm gonna do that." You know what I mean? So like, I was like, I could do it all week, but the weekend part, that's gonna be rough.
That's when you're out of town.
Yeah.
So,
The conflict was too much,
not so
but
much,
we all
then-
made frenzies, and now we're best frenzies.
And then you were able to do the film.
And then
Yeah.
the film came up.
And so let's get into the M word.
Okay.
Because this, when you look at the title, you're like, what does it stand for? Does it stand for marriage? Is this going to be about marriage? And no, it's about menopause.
Yeah.
Or
and menstruation.
Today, my M word would be mucus.
Mucus.
Farmer blow right on the table. Show us what you got.
Oh,
Lay it out.
A rocket launcher
Yes, no,
right there.
I woke up a little ill today, so you can hear the deep.
Directed by Miss Tanna Frederick over here.
The video, yes, the video.
The video is directed by her, and this is your song, which is really cool. But we're actually here to talk about the M word.
That's right.
And we both are in
Yeah.
the video, just FYI.
Oh, you're in the music video
so she
as well?
directed the video, and then she starred in the video as.
Lucy.
And look at, she's wearing the perfect Lucy breast.
I have it, yeah.
Wait, did I say breast? She's wearing the perfect Lucy breast. I mean dress.
Corey, my mom's in the audience.
Sorry.
Corey.
Here I go
lock it
already.
down.
Right at the
Lock it
beginning.
down.
Just can't think about
Just get it out
anything
now.
but sex.
He plays
Damn it!
Ricky.
I'm not going to talk about sex.
Actually, we're going to talk about sex a little bit.
Corey
Because
played Ricky in the video, just FYI.
Oh,
So we
I
are.
love
So she was
it.
Lucy, I was Ricky, and we did not have sex.
I'd like to hear your best Ricky impression and your best Lucy.
Oh, Lucy, I don't want to go there right now.
Ricky!
Come on, Lucy, don't you do it. Now I got a cast that she was doing with Henry, and they were doing it at their theater at the Edgemar. And she said, I need you. Well, she said to Scott, my manager, hey, could you come down and have him maybe do a reading with us for this play that we're trying to get up on his feet. And I think whatever it was, I wasn't available, but they had sent me the script that she was working on next. And it was this great play called Sylvia, where she was playing a dog.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yes.
And-
I love that
Which
play.
kind of is a little bit of like, the predecessor to this whole movie, really, because she was playing a dog.
She plays a dog in the children's show.
Movie, right. So she was doing the dog thing, and they needed, somebody to do it with her to play the
There are
dad.
3 roles. You auditioned for the 3 roles. There's a very difficult part in it.
Oh, you play all 3,
There's-
right.
Yeah, and so
Yeah,
he did a brilliant audition, of course, because he's a brilliant comedian. And then we were like, yes, yes, yes. And then
I'm opening. We have an eye, sort of a nostril, 2 teeth. One of the teeth has a small cavity.
Close call, folks, but I think we got here just in time.
Presented by Maria Menounos and Kevin Undergaro. This is Anatomy of a Movie. In-depth discussions and breakdowns of various movie titles. And now that you've seen the movie, let the dissection begin.
Hey guys, this is Anatomy of a Movie. I'm Chloe West, and you are hearing, we can't hear it in the studio, so it sounds a little bizarre, but you're listening to Corey Feldman's Duh, which you can find on YouTube.
Something for you. I'm going to have to take you to the bathroom, and then I'm going to get to you.
Yes, yes. We're all going to YouTube that right now just to see that again. That was great.
In actuality, we don't talk in the video, but
There's not a great...
It's all
up, and then
pantomime.
it's just like,
Sorry.
this is going to be one of those interviews where people right underneath, were they all drunk?
yeah.
Actually, we're just
Why
drinking.
does,
high on
why does
life.
Tanna keep laughing and Corey keeps thinking he's funny?
That's funny. We have really weird. It's cool that when you find somebody who you have great.
Chemistry.
See, he finishes sentences.
That's
And
so great.
Corey is that person, and we did like a reading together a long time ago. And
For a
then-
play.
For a play.
Is that how you guys met before the movie?
Where did we meet?
Well,
Holy crap balls.
it's a long story, but no. We actually had the same manager for a little while.
Yes.
And so my manager was helping her get a play